empowering youth with creative outlets. We're giving them these tools here. We're creating this environment. What does that look like to you all, this creative space and this creative environment?
So it kind of looks like here, we have some DJ equipment here. We just kind of like allow the kids to do things that they're interested in and show them things that maybe they're not and spark some interest. So a creative environment really is just kind of a free flow place where they can get done what they want to get done.
Whether that activity is an arts and crafts project or a game, even a board game, like Monopoly. You know, they're learning about buying and selling and, you know, counting and all kinds of different things go into these different activities that each youth, each kid can pull something from. We don't know how it's going to affect them. We just want it to be a positive environment where they're learning new things, learning about new cultures, learning about new any kind of an activity, anything that's going on in the world.
Just giving them more of that well-rounded experience.
Yeah.
Giving them the tools to collaborate and problem solve and kind of work past any failures that they might have to just become a stronger, more well-rounded person.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of that in different activities that y'all have facilitated here.
Like today was show and tell. We had one of the kids go up to do their show and tell, and it was very quick and done. So then Alex and I got up and did our show and tell. If you notice, the kids that went after us, they kind of pulled it out a little further. There was a little more discussion. And we asked them questions, and they answered. It was a little bit.
Yeah, I think once they see like more confidence from us, that builds confidence in themselves.
Sure.
Just as a mentor, they're looking up to you, and once they see it's not that big of a deal, just to go up and kind of express yourself, talk about things you like, you get excited instead of nervous, and I think that's a big part of it.
Do you think that kind of helps define your role as the facilitator?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's the main goal. The main thing to do is just kind of be there and just be as big as you can in your life, like figuratively, just be large, like just be proud of yourself, and they'll kind of take that and carry it with them.
Yeah, do you want to maybe explain a little bit further for our viewers how you did that with the show and tell today with what we have here and also what you presented to the group?
Yeah, so with the show and tell, we had different staff members just bring in a variety of different things that were close to them as well. I brought in some records that I really love, and kind of allowing the kids to see something that maybe they haven't seen, and just to hear my story about why it means so much to me. I think it helped them express themselves and express their item for show and tell as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I found it interesting. I don't know if you noticed this, that, you know, my interest obviously is horses, so I use that as my show and tell. We had quite a few of the kids kind of talking about their own families and their pets, and
Yeah, it really sparks a conversation.
yeah, exactly.
It was interesting to see other kids that talked about horses as well, that had horses.
Yeah, and then how do you think taking an activity like show and tell, we can extract that to relate it to different experiences that these kids are going through with the different programs we provide for them?
Well, I think being able to talk about yourself with more than one person or a big group of people, it's helping with confidence. They're going to have a little bit more self-assurance. They're thinking about themselves. They have to think about themselves, and we don't do that all the time. And it's really important to do that as a kid, because that's how you're figuring stuff out for when you're older.
Yeah, and that's pretty impactful too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially having those experience-based opportunities to then relate life to.
Sly and the Family Stone Greatest Hits album. This is an original issue. As you can tell, it's been beat up a lot. I've probably played
From
this.
the olden days.
This is probably from the 80s that they pressed this Greatest Hits. I was playing earlier. We were just listening to. I'll put on the rest of it though. This is one of my favorite albums. I love their greatest hits. I've played it probably 1,000 times, and I'll continue to play it until I can't play it anymore.
Is there a reason why it's your favorite?
I kind of just grew up. My parents listened to Sly and the Family Stone a lot, and so it kind of got into my ear. And then it just, some bands you grow up listening to, you kind of fade out of them. They've just always been a band I still listen to.
Who listens to the radio?
This is my dog. Her name's Luna. And her age, absolutely no idea.
Oh,
Her favorite place to be rub is her stomach. Because every time you go near her, she'll go. And she likes to toys and bubbles. And we don't know if she's doing that. Because she was left outside the road by people, by some of her families. And then we got her a shelter in her steward. And she's a girl and she's very calm.
Aww. Oh, you know I love that. Tell us about them.
They're black and white.
What are their names? And did you used to ride them or just love them? Yeah.
Those are horses?
Huh?
Nice.
Yeah, really pretty. They're very, very pretty.
I'm a big football fan. I have a lot of different jerseys, but my favorite jersey of all is my Walter Payton throwback jersey. I'll have to bring it in sometime, but it's gorgeous. I don't wear it because I don't want to get anything on it. It hangs up in my room in a glass case.
What color is it?
It's the white throwback, the ones from 2020 where it has the all blue letters. The nice throwback.
Was Walter Payton, did he play for Chicago Bears?
Yep.
All the time? Did he get
His
traded?
entire career.
Entire career.
Entire career from 1981.
Wow.
Actually, no, sorry, he was younger.
That was such a nice speech. Yeah, I'm done.
So who is Ollie Smith?
Does he still play?
He's like 75.
Oh,
Ah.
Is he your favorite player?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Animal should be. Wow.
So Cohen, I got a story for you. A couple of years ago,
The next thing,
I was going to Miami.
you want me to stand up there with you?
Okay.
Nothing fancy. We're working up. This is a stick which is called a garacha pole. And what he's doing, it's a Mexican way it's an Mexican art form of riding. And this is what we're doing.
The first time I rode, my dad made me fall on. I love singing, dancing, and creating art. Since I've been at the Boys and Girls Club, I've had a good experience. I've learned to make
take what all our members know, like just sit there and realize and talk to them outside of the actual programming to realize, okay, this is what I feel like they should know at this age. So at Lewis, talking to kids and say I said a word and they understand, like, okay, well, no syllabus, I need to go back and make for next month, just get like a vocabulary list, all the words that they said, what is that, Mr. Joe? And we just incorporate that into like a spelling game or master definition type game. And then with the teenagers, we try to, we move a little more away from academic class and more of life and social skills class. So if they're having a problem, they sit one-on-one and just talk to some different ways of how we can handle this problem. Like, I know a lot of these boys are similar to me at the age. Like, I don't know, I know nothing because I'm coming from a single parent background. Not a lot of people have a father around, not a lot of positive male figures. So me talking to him like, yo, hey bro, like, I know it sounds logical to address it this way, but in the long run, say tomorrow, he's gonna come back and bite you in the butt, or this is gonna be the consequence of this certain action, this reaction or response to this problem or situation today. Before I had my whistle, so 2 whistles when we had the mask, mainly. If I caught you out with mask, 2 whistles, beep beep, and oh. So when I came to the gym and said beep beep, everybody checked it's a mask check. So
Yeah.
it was a creative way for me staying young, like hey, and especially
Yeah.
like 40 people with their masks on, just a beep beep, and everybody mask check.
Yeah, because a lot of times they're not consciously doing it. It's
Yeah.
something that is just happening,
Yeah.
and it's kind of re-guiding them back
Yeah.
with a less harsh manner.
Yeah, it's not me coming and yelling. It's like, oh, no, I'm sitting down. No, so it's like at first I started off with no, you gotta sit down with your mask on. I realized, like, it's helmets, we need to breathe. You're not used to something on our face, so just a simple whistle.
Yeah, so meeting them where they're at in
Yeah.
terms of this new way of living,
Yeah,
almost,
so-
and so how positively encourage it
Yeah.
without putting a negative connotation to it.
Right. So,
Awesome.
and then it got to the point where I thought, when I moved back to the school started up, I walk in the building and everybody, Mr. Johnson, everybody just put their mask on.
Oh wow.
So it was like,
So that transference piece was definitely there because outside of the club, outside of our normal hours, you walked in their environment and they're still recognizing that skill. That's great. That's really exciting.
immediately, oh, Mr. Joe said this, but eventually it's going to be like, if I say it enough times, the kids start sticking, so they get certain situations, they're like, you know what? Let me step back, let me come down. One of the teenagers is playing basketball right now, Mason, who's also the youth of the year.
Yes.
He started off as a hot-headed 4th grader, like, he legitimately tried to punch me a couple times. But me just steadily being on the side, me telling me, hey bro, when you feeling upset, you need to try to distance yourself from what's making you upset, to recenter yourself. And right now, it's clearly like one of our most mature high school members, because when he's feeling above and beyond outside his zone, he steps back and recenter himself, then he come back and address the problem. Like,
Yeah.
cool, calm, and collected. So I feel like it just depends on how often it was said to them, and then how important it is to them. Like, 'cause I also was a basketball coach at AAU, so I was again just saying that. She's like, you know what? You can't calm yourself down in the game. I can have you play. And you start seeing that. Well, if I'm at this level, I can do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
That's great. Kind of meet them at their level
Yeah.
and give them what they need individually.
Yeah, and without being judgmental about it, because again, a lot of kids upstairs, like Mason himself, as a hothead, I was as a child too, so just teaching the same lessons. My mentor was just teaching me, like, take a step back and then calm down and then come back and address it.
That's great. Awesome.
Passport to manhood is why I hit the ground running with them. Just because a lot of middle schoolers, they don't respect teachers, respect male or female staffs. So as a males, I'm trying to get them to respect women in a more positive way.
Yeah, a safer environment
Safer
to allow them to
environment.
learn what that looks like for them as an individual.
Yes,
Awesome.
and that's like not just like, just with even with the high school males, like just what are you doing after college, after high school? It's college. Some of them got college, Army, Air Force. I've never been to any of the Army, Marines, none
Yeah.
of that. So I know college, I had little college experience. And I tell them like, hey, once you leave, once you leave out of this high school, enjoy every moment, because reality don't hit you when you're on your own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of it may hit you guys, some reality probably knocked at your door early in high school like it did me. So I tell them my high school experience being a senior and having a son. I was like, reality knocked on my door real fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had to jump right into fatherhood.
Yeah.
And Also, I shared with them in Passport that you can look around, and it was about 7 people I hung out with in my group. I'm the only one that haven't been to prison. So I shared that with them. Like, some of you guys might go off, have kids, might get a nice job working. Some of you might end up in prison. I never want to push death on nobody, but some of you make the wrong decisions and death comes in.
Yeah, I mean, being real with them, especially at that age, is something that is super impactful. It gives them those well-rounded tools to be able to then kind of hone in when they are in that experience. Oh yeah, I remember Halston telling me about this. Is this one of those moments that is going to make life just happen very real, or is this something that I can use all these tools that I was given and guided through on how to use them in order to make a decision that's going to better my life?
That's exactly what we start off with the high schoolers. You gotta be real with them.
Yeah.
Passport, I don't sugarcoat nothing with them. I just be straight real with them.
Yeah.
Like, straight out.
And a lot of times too, these members are now given that space, and that's something that they wouldn't have unless they were a part of this organization.
I feel like if you lie to them, tell them something that they want to just hear, or something that you just need to get to them, to get your job done, when you walk away, you're going to think about it. It's going to be on your mind.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
I just try to just keep straightforward with them. I tell them whenever they doing wrong. I tell them when they full of it. I tell them when I'm happy with them.
I'm at the front desk, so I make a welcoming environment. I make sure I welcome them when they come in, and then after they get checked in and everything, they feel comfortable coming out, talking to me, coming out here, taking the breather. So, yeah.
Awesome. So you kind of mentioned a different project that you had conducted for the members. Do you want to explain a little bit more on that and how that went?
Yeah, I was asked to help with the Black History Month event. We had a fashion expo kind of thing where we did a week of fashion. My major is fashion design and merchandising, so I have pretty extensive background in it. And I'm also an entrepreneur, so I was trying to give those kids like that entrepreneur aspect of it. So I was letting them know, like, okay, here's the history of sewing fashion. I specifically tailored it around like ethnic dress because I felt like they would think that it was like interesting to learn about how different symbols, shapes, and colors meant things to different cultures.
Yeah.
And a lot of them thought that that was cool. I let them kind of express themselves on like mock t-shirts, and we were gonna make real ones later.
So cool.
Yeah, so we kind of learned about some different symbols that could mean something to them from different cultures, and they like were able to write, symbols and design it on their shirts. And they were excited to do like a tie-dye event or like something to make the actual shirts.
Awesome. Do you think that translated to any of the members in their personal life to create their own business endeavors?
A lot of them were saying that they had different passions. So some of them really enjoyed fashion, but others of them enjoyed like hairstyling and things like that. So they were bringing up different talents that they had that they wanted to start making money off of.
Okay, that's what I got. Alright, so I have a bracelet business that I'm going to start selling bracelets. I made $200.
You dropped one, too.
And I have future plans. Like, what do you think my future plans are? Anybody have Gabby?
Sell bracelets and make that cash.
Period. That's right, what do you think?
Make money.
Yeah. That's obvious what you think.
How do you make your bracelets?
Well, handmade.
Out of what? Like, what do you use?
Like these. So I have more at home, but like this is it. So my future plans are probably
Can you show us? Can we see them?
yes.
So where do you get your materials from? Oh, that's cute. It says squad. Can you pass them around?
Yes. We're gonna pass them around. Everyone gets to do them.
Squad balls.
band ones that yours that's holding, they're $3. Ones that are like real that handmade, they're $5. And also the rubber band ones that handmade, and they're $3.
Do you customize them how they?
Yeah, like, and I have like on Snapchat, I have pictures on my story that you can look at. Sorry, I'm sorry. And after, and then it's stories and stuff. And it's really cool. And it's like number 1, number 2, you know. But like I saw some of it, so probably it'll be a long time to make. But those Hoops Elite ones, that's and those like rubber band ones that were like blue, orange, and like clear. Those were actually Hoops Elite ones. My dad has his own basketball team, and we're probably gonna use that to like buy merch and stuff. And plus, you have a question? Alright. It's maybe time she has a question. What's your question? Alright, she said no. Anyway, back to what I was saying.
How has the club helped you perform your platform and develop
Well, for being here, actually, you guys are like, I'm really thankful right now. Like, basically, a bunch of other people don't want to hear my ideas and stuff. And I don't know, but I'm probably, my future plans are to get a future Tesla, or be a dragon apartment. I need to pay for like all that online. I'm probably gonna make some shirts later in the future, or probably soon, and probably buy like a bunch of stuff for like my sister, cause like I have a sister named Naomi, and when she gets older, I'm probably gonna buy her like her own apartment, so that way she has somewhere to live. I'm probably help her out with rent. And then and I want to become a psychologist and study running stuff and do species, and my hobby will be breathing. Yes.
Did you say dragon in between Tesla and apartment?
No, bearded dragon.
Bearded dragon.
Dragons are missing.
No, that's great. I love it.
All right. I started my business in February.
What made you start your business?
Well, I just wanted to make money and stuff, and probably like make bracelets, cause like that's the easiest thing I can do right now. I don't have any other ideas. My mom's like, cause like I wanted to sell bracelets at school. That was my first idea. And then my mom's like, hey, you should start selling them out in public. I'm like, and then she's like, we're gonna steal your ideas. And then I'm like, no, you didn't steal nothing. And then I was like, and I was like, yes, she's right.
So when you sell them, how do you go about promoting them? Do you ask your friends?
Yeah, I ask my friends. I ask my promoted stuff. Probably make an online thing. And I don't know. Anybody have any questions? No. Now the whole time.
Do you sell like other things other than bracelets? Like we start doing necklaces?
Yeah, sometimes I do necklaces, shirts, kind of stuff.
Shirts?
Yeah.
You do too, I guess.
I'm probably gonna make my wrist high. I'm probably gonna make
do you empower youth through creative outlets as their mentor?
Yeah. Well, first first thing. I think creative outlets are super important, right? I don't know if it needs to be said, but as far as when you're a kid, realizing what makes you special, what things you're good at, what things that people will recognize about you, I think the programming is by far the most important part of our curriculum for getting to that, because you can't really see many of those things, those standout moments in this sort of daily doldrum of going from snack to whole systems go, all this kind of stuff. So it's when you bring kids into an outlet where they're all maybe doing the same thing but in different ways, in like an art project, or making a cotton ball snowman or whatever have you, and seeing how they do it really, really differently is often a fun experience, because at the end, some kid has done it some way and some kid has done it another way, and both of them are completely unexpected, and everybody enjoys looking at those differences and seeing where they fit in, and for the kid, that can be super important because it's a way to like single out their sort of talent, or at least their personality, because as a kid, that's all you're searching for. I think is that self-actualization. That who am I? What are people going to value me for?
Yeah, and do you have any examples of different projects or different activities that kind of hit on that message more than others?
Yeah. So I've been running, actually in that other room, I've been running a small tabletop role-playing game with some of the kids, and that is, I don't want to toot my own horn because I love tabletop role-playing games, but I do think that they are one of the best tools for getting that out of kids, because they are, it's that process distilled down into its like basic parts. It's like group storytelling. Like you've made a character that's uniquely you. How are you going to play out this situation, right? And everybody else gets to see how you're going to play out this situation, and it's done. It's sort of fun and in a creative way, but in a small sort of like literally a sandbox that you're like playing in and can't break too many rules and nobody gets hurt. Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's a very safe and fun environment to explore like who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I never really thought about that in terms of live action role play or tabletop.
Yes, LARPing is with the swords in the field. And
Okay,
yeah.
but this one...
I saw you guys on cameras. Oh,
yeah, it's something that I haven't really related, but you're absolutely right. You're taking that experience that they're having here in reality with other people, and then they're taking that to the next level and being able to take what they've learned from this environment into a new environment and create their own. So it allows them that empowerment to be able to explore different options than what they would normally not be able to.
Yes, and then the goal is to take it full circle, right? We take it back there, and then they take the stuff that they've explored in this space and push it out into the real world.
Do you have any examples of how you're able to translate that so that the members are able to understand that this is the hidden message of what we're creating?
That's a really good question. I don't know if not off the top of my head, but I think most challenges, right? And sometimes I get a little sappy and put in like very, very parabolic character. Not like a parabola, but like a parable, right? Like very parable-esque characters that are very, very clearly trying to teach them a lesson. But other than that, it's just introducing a lot of conflict that they have to overcome, and usually by overcoming conflict and seeing how they do it, like you have to work together, at a certain point. You have to set down your differences if you want to beat the bigger thing, right? Which is all, which is, if I can get that across in a day, that's a victory for me.
Absolutely, that's super magical. Well, thanks for sharing me that experience. What about your role as that facilitator? How does that tie in when you're teaching them this process?
Yeah.
And while you're walking them through it?
to say something a little weird, but you know, being a YDP, I mean, people give us a lot of time with their kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, less than teachers, but you know, more than you know, most of the people that their kids interacted with, and we interact with other YDPs, and I don't want to say like it's like parenting, because I'm not a parent and I don't know any parents. I'm like, but it is in the sense that like being a united front, showing kids how to act by how we act with other YDPs. Like they're gonna look to our relationships with the other adults that are around them to sort of like what are we working towards, right? Like this is
Yeah.
what an adult relationship like looks like. So it's important to, you know, be on the same page with your other YDPs and sort of and work together with them to solve problems for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great way to, you know, kind of pull back from it and just say, this is real because this is how we're interacting. We're a direct model to our members. And then in turn, to be able to find an activity that allows them that freedom of space to explore themselves, to learn new skills, and then to apply it directly. I mean, that right there is just the dream. That's what we're aiming to do with all of our members. Yeah.
Fellow with the rose.